Okay, that was a big fucking task for Elmo. Look, I can barely. Me giving myself permission to take things one thing at a time, has a way of slowing us down and making us reevaluate things. And I just want everything to stop. I just wanted everything to stop. I mean, it's a bit funny, but that's okay too. Hey guys, it's your girl Mika Tania, and I am back with another video, and I gotta be careful on doing that. But I am back with another video. In order for me to really believe whatever is about to happen to me, like to actually believe it, I need to see it, I need to document it, because there's so much stuff happening right now. So yeah, so I will see y'all in a little bit, and yeah, I hope y'all are entertained at the very least. Entertained. Moving back home. So if you guys did not know, your girl went to college in Southern Illinois, and I ended up just staying down there because I had my own apartment down there. I didn't really move down there. I know some people like to say that I moved down there, but I didn't really move down there. I just ended up staying down there after I graduated because I already had a place. So if I had to pick a place to move to, it definitely would not have been where I was. Also, so the first question that I have is how it feels being back at your mom's house as an adult. I'm not going to lie, as an adult, it's very jarring. My mom has never been a very strict person, and she's never been the type to like not let us be adults and things like that. But because I've had my own home for so long now, there are certain things that I would do that I would only be able to do if I had my own place. I just came back from the store that's across the street from my house. It's like a convenience store. They sell hot food. What else? Hot food, THC, snacks and stuff like that. Because I know him, I know the owner, and I know the owner's wife and the guy who works there. The cook. I don't really know the cook, but I talk to one of the guys frequently because he's always there, and he pretty much gave me new details in his POV from the day. When I tell you, when I walked in, his expression and the lady's expression, Linda, her name is Linda, her expression when she realized who I was and his expression were the highlight of this trip, to be honest, because you can genuinely see they actually gave a fuck and they were happy to see me. As soon as I walked in, he looked at me, he was just cheesing hard as fuck. Okay, y'all, it's day 3, move out day, and I was able to get some stuff out of here that's trash for them to figure out. This was my apartment, really clean. Oh shit, well, I don't have but this is how I left it. We didn't think about that. I told them if we can't fit in the U-Haul U-Box, we'll leave it. It's a plug-in over here. As an adult, it's very jarring. My mom has never been a very strict person, and she's never been the type to like not let us be adults and things like that. But because I've had my own home for so long now, there are certain things that I would do that I would only be able to do if I had my own place, and not if I was sharing a place with my mom and my siblings and her husband. So there are plenty of things. I don't really know how to explain it. If you're another person out there like me who's very independent, if you're oldest sibling, if you're very independent, if you're someone who's just used to having her own place, or who's been living on your own for so long, there are plenty of things that we can say, and I'm gonna need y'all help. Plenty of things that we can say, but I mean, it's fine in the sense of like, now I don't have to think of everything on my own. I'm not paying any bills. It's a bit jarring, but the break is needed for sure. And there are some pros that comes to living with my mom's house. I don't, especially in this economy right now, but I can think of a ton of reasons on how I would feel if I was not living in my mom's house. I'll say that. I wrote a few words that I felt kind of describe my experience right now, and those were the mixed emotions. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that I can come back to my mom's house. Most people can't go back to their mom's house or their parents' house, or they don't have anywhere else to go. So I'm very, 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 very grateful to be able to come back home, especially taking a break from paying bills. Yeah, right now I am in my teenage room, so now I have to figure out a way to, and that's a whole nother story within itself, but I have to figure out a way to basically make my old teenage room that was transitioned to my sister's room into my room temporarily. So a couple of mixed emotions or feelings that I'm feeling being back in my mom's house is grateful, weird, humbling, and temporary. So those are the emotions that I'm feeling. And if this video feels a little like off to you and it feels kind of weird, if I'm talking weird or if I'm saying things weird, it's because I feel weird right now. And back home, I have what you're looking forward to. So what am I looking forward to? I am looking forward to living the city life. If you are someone who lives in the city and you are used to being a city person, you know exactly what I mean. Where I was living at, everything was just so spaced out. There were a lot of chain restaurants and things like that. You had to really know someone that lived down there, that's from that area, in order to know a lot of the hole in the wall type of spots. I feel like you had to know someone. So I had maybe like a couple on one hand full of restaurants that I would go to constantly and repeatedly, but because I was so heavy into my fitness and stuff like that and meal prepping, I mostly meal prep. But I feel like that would be me no matter where I was. But I will say the difference with me being in the city versus me being like in a place where it's not the best as far as food and stuff and fun stuff, I would say that there's too many options to eat in Chicago, if I didn't say that already. So yeah, so there are more food options, but I am looking forward to being able to spend time with my family. I'm looking forward to being able to spend time with my friends. I'm looking forward to doing just more stuff in general, recording more content, being creative. I'm looking forward to just starting my life. I know that the job market is going to be different in Chicago. The fun market, just overall, I think it's going to be more stuff to do. I had my reservations about coming back to Chicago, or coming back home, I should say, for other reasons other than just family and whatnot. So I think the entire thing is going to be an adjustment. So yeah, So number 2, closing this chapter of my life. So I am so glad that I am able to say that I can close this chapter of my life, because ever since I woke up and I had to process that this is now my life, I feel like, because I've been in one of those, so I will say that closing this chapter I'm excited about doing, and I feel lost for words for right now, but I'm going to try to get this out the best I can. The reason why I'm excited to close this chapter is because when I woke up and realized that my life was different, and I had a lot of I had a lot to process and like really just think like, okay, cool. I was already planning to be done with being down here at some point. I had already started looking for other job options. I was putting job applications, etc., etc. I feel like I just been needing a break. Your girl has been needing a break. I've been needing a break from everything. The economy that we're living in right now is ass. Everything is expensive. Everything is for a second for me, I'm like, I just want everything to stop. I just wanted everything to stop. Favorite memories of being in my apartment. Favorite memories, I don't know if I have any favorite memories. I think the entire thing is a favorite memory. To say that I had my own place is a favorite memory of mine. I think finally getting my own spot where it hasn't been touched by male basically getting my own apartment where no male has been to my place, no male has lived in my place. There was no male energy there. I think that was my favorite memory, being able to go home and fall asleep wherever, to cook wherever, to things I have learned living alone. What have I learned? I learned how to make a house a home. I've learned how to make, no matter how small the space is, how to make that space your own. How to make it functional. Now when I go to, especially my mom's house right now, but when I go to other people's houses, or if I go to her house, or I'm in my mom's house, reaching for certain things that just feels like common sense, or that just feels like normal sense. I feel like I've learned how to basically, how to make any place I stay at home. What else? I learned how to pay bills. I learned how to be very organized, very clean. I learned how to clean my space. I learned how to make my place or my space safe for me. Yeah, I would say mostly functional things. Let me see. Do I have any funny stories about packing? Funny stories about packing. I don't have any funny stories about packing this time, because I think this time I was on my like 6th, 7th move. So I think this last time when I moved my apartment and I was packing, I think I was a little bit more prepared for what I needed to do, especially under the circumstances that I'm under right now. I'm like, it's just better for me if I pack a certain way, and if my things are neatly, if I know where my things are, if my things are labeled. So I don't have any funny stories about packing for this time, but I will say, actually, I do have a funny story about packing. Okay. So the funny story that I have about packing is a couple of years ago when I had broke up with an ex-boyfriend, let's just say. I remember I was on Marketplace or something like that, or I forgot what I was. I know I was on Facebook for sure. And I found these 2 guys that could help me move. And they were 2, like, you can tell they were 2 hillbillies and whatnot. And as soon as he left and I seen that he turned the corner to go to work and whatnot, I texted them. I already was moving my stuff anyway. And when I was packing the rest of my apartment and things like that, when they pulled up, they were in a fucking Malibu. They were in a fucking Malibu. They were in a Malibu. I'm not joking. Did they move my whole apartment? Did they move my stuff? They absolutely did. They did a great job moving my apartment and stuff. But they pulled up in a Malibu. So that is a funny packing story. Okay. Number 3. Goals for the next season. Goals for the next season. Okay. So I wrote a couple of things down. So the first thing that I have on my goal for this next era that I'm walking into is healing, recovering and healing. So something did major happen, and most people know something major happened. For some, I told them, and for some people I didn't. I don't know. I haven't really been in a place where I'm comfortable with sharing with people yet, just because I feel like it's such a sensitive thing to talk about. It's not something that I could talk about lightly. So to make sure that I do what I need to do, like do my part as far as healing and recovering and making sure that your girl is good, I haven't said anything yet. So I would say healing and recovering is a big one. Is a big one on my list. Yeah, I will say that. Also resting. I think resting can go with that, but definitely resting with that, like just reminding myself that it's okay for me to rest a little bit more. It's okay for me to take my time. What else? Yeah, I will say I'm getting way more rest than I was than previously. So yeah, just making sure that I give myself, not only am I patient with myself, but I give myself grace, and that I yeah, just take one day at a time, 1% each day, 1% each day. That's all you can ask for. Another goal for this next season, I will say finishing my UX certificate. So this is the one thing that I haven't really talked to many people about, or that I haven't really talked about at all, really, to be honest. I started the UX journey last year. It was sometime during the summer when I first started looking into it, because I was like, okay, I need to pivot careers. I need to do something with because I'm like, I'm a very, when it comes to like working in my career and stuff like that, I got my college degree I got my college degree in business, and then also the type of jobs that I've worked. I worked in management and leadership. I've worked in marketing, campaigning. I've worked in administrative support. I worked a little bit in HR. That's the administrative support part. I've also worked in I currently was working I've been working in admissions. I've been working in admissions as of lately. So because I've been needing to like pivot and stuff like that, I did some research, and I was trying to figure out, okay, what's best for me? What am I going to do next? I knew that I wanted to go back to school, and the school that I wanted to go to was pretty expensive, and they were going to offer like a laptop. It had something to do with computer and tech and whatnot. So decided not to do that. And then, mind you, this was like when I'm heavy into my admissions work, and I'm heavy into not only admissions but graduate admissions. So now I'm getting all of the information that I need on what it is I need to even apply, if I want to apply to the same school, a different school, or I want to go somewhere else, whatever the case is. So anyways, long story short, I found my new pivot point, and I want that to be UX UI and getting certified so that I can pivot into tech. So that's what I'm currently doing, and I'm hoping to be finished with that pretty soon. And depending on how far I get, which is actually what I'm going to do after this, depending on how far I get, I am going to be taking you guys on a journey with me to learning UX UI, because I have come so far, and I am getting ready to work on my portfolio. So that is one of the next things that I have going on in my new season. What else? Getting back into routine. After the major life switch happened, one thing that I saw, that like some of the goals, some of the good things that I took with me from previously, was my eating habits. So when I was in the hospital and when I was in rehab, your girl was eating I was eating really healthy. I was eating really clean. When they were asking me what did I want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I was making sure that I kept it clean. I was like, I told them what I wanted. I definitely ordered, I definitely had times where I wanted more than what my diet allowed me to get. But yeah, getting back into my routine. I can't wait to start meal prepping again. That's how I lived my life when I was living in Southern Illinois. That's how I felt like I was able to survive. When I don't have meal prep, or when I don't know what I'm eating, at least that's my norm, then I feel like my life feels chaotic. So getting back into the routine of how I eat, going to the gym, maybe being active a little bit more, not a lot, anyways, getting back into the routine is what I'm going to be working on and practicing. Basically, just figuring out, okay, what kind of foods I want to eat, what I want to meal prep. And when I say getting back into routine, it's not going to be the same routine as before. Obviously, like literally right before this major thing happened, your girl was in the gym 5 to 6 times a week. I was throwing up big weights. I was really getting to that point where, cool. Now I'm at the point where, okay, I gotta do a lot of what I work on in therapy. So I have to walk more. I have to build myself back up to running. I have to do a little bit of plyometrics, but I gotta take it easy with where my body is currently at right now. What else? Finding myself again, finding yourself again. That's another goal of mine on my next season of life, is finding myself again. I got to figure out how to find myself while I'm in the predicament that I'm in. Like I said, right now, things are going okay. Things are going well. And I'm taking each day at a time. I am very aware of where I am at mentally and emotionally, but it's one thing to know it, and it's a completely different thing to like feel all these emotions and to know where you're at. So that's that. But finding myself again is going to be a really big one. And then I think giving me grace, giving myself grace. That's gonna be a very hard one to do. And which I think I kind of said it earlier. Giving myself grace is gonna be a lot of practice, but it's gonna be very necessary. Especially with where I'm at right now. And I'm trying to be positive, and I'm trying to make sure that, I don't go into this completely blind, and I don't, but I just have to remind myself to give myself grace, because I have a habit of often um being so aware to where I can feel everybody else's energy, and I can feel, and I can give them grace and understanding, but I'm not being so kind to myself, if that makes sense. Just not being so kind to myself. So that's something that I noticeably need to work on, that I'm doing my best to work on it and go well. So yeah. So giving myself grace. So just to reiterate, goals for the next season would be healing and recovering, finishing my UX certificate program. So all things tech soon, getting back into a routine. So that's meal prepping, that's my fitness journey, that's my weight loss journey, that's my eventually training journey. And then just finding myself again and giving myself plenty of grace. Whew. Okay, now that we got the serious stuff over, what are some, let me think. I'm trying to think of some funny commentary moments, because I can be dramatic, and I'm kind of funny. So I will say a funny commentary moment. I will say moving out of my apartment really exposed my spending habits, because your girl was in the Lowe's store for I don't know how long, and mind you, I wrote notes, and I already wrote notes and plans of how I was gonna pack and things like that. So I already kind of planned how many boxes I was gonna buy. So when I was in the Lowe's store and I was figuring it out, I'm like, okay, most of my tote bags are already packed. I still have other stuff to pack. And your girl was in there literally calculating, like, okay, I'm gonna get 4 small boxes, maybe 5 medium boxes, 2 large boxes. No, I don't think I need to. So yeah, your girl, yeah. So I'll just say that. But yeah, me moving out of the apartment, it exposed my spending habits. Your girl had a lot of chargers. I had a lot of fucking little Type-C chargers, and now I need the Type-C chargers because I have one of them iPhones that has the new Type-C charger. What else? Me packing up my apartment, it exposed a lot of things. But what I will say is, when I was packing up my apartment and I was getting rid of some things that I wasn't really attached to, it exposed a lot of things. I think being down there, also being in Southern Illinois, also exposed a lot of things that I did not know about the accident, about the person who I'll just say about the person. And it exposed, I was just ready to get it over with. I was ready to be done. But what I will say is, anyways, so to get back on track. Y'all still with me? Okay, cool. We gotta take a break. We gotta take a breather. We gotta take a breather. Okay. Now that that's been done, and we are 4-5 days post move, let me say this to y'all, okay? So I'm not gonna lie. This season has been a lot, and it's been very unexpected. It's been very hard, and I wasn't really expecting for my life to go like this. I don't think nobody ever expects for a tragedy or something like that to happen to them. But if I'm being honest, I thought that I would be somewhere else, that my life would look a little different. I knew that I was trying to be back at home, or be back in the city. I knew that much, but just not like this, not in the way that, it happened. I think sometimes life, has a way of slowing us down and making us reevaluate things. And that's I mean, it's a bit funny, but that's okay too. Right now I am focusing on healing. I am taking care of myself. I am spending time with family and friends. And I still have goals that I want to accomplish. So I am going to be finishing up my goals and figuring out what, the next chapter of my life, what that looks like, and what that will be like. I know that a lot of you guys have a lot of questions. Trust me. Y'all got a lot of questions for me. I know a lot of y'all are curious. And I wanna tell you, and I promise you I'm gonna be there to tell you guys. When I'm ready to share more, I definitely will. But for right now, this is me. This is me giving myself permission to take things one at a time. This is giving myself permission to give myself grace and understanding, to just ease into it, because some people know and some people don't know. A lot of people don't know, because I haven't really said anything, but that's because it's something very, very vulnerable, and it's not something that I can just share with any and everybody. So, yeah, I do want to say thank you guys for being here, and thank you for giving me the space to heal, grow, and support me, and to love me, and to start over, essentially. And I'm going to try my hardest to put that growth out there. I think it'll be especially fun for me to look back on. I also think that it would be really dope if my story could also help somebody else who is also in need. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk too much. I've already talked your ears off, but if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section. Don't ask obvious questions that I'm not going to answer right now, but definitely if you have questions about moving, if you're moving from another city to city, or another state to state, let me know and I can make another video on everything I did to move, exactly specifically how I moved, who I used to move, and yeah, I will talk to y'all later.